you guys have a wonderful day today. We are going to be playing with some fun new makeup. Well, one new item, which is the new palette by Natasha Denona. And this is her mini retro palette. This is what it looks like. Very pretty, very spring. This was completely unintentional. This I just got in the mail yesterday. And so I was really excited to try it or to wear it. And then this came shortly afterwards. And I was like, oh, I guess they'll go together. Like when I was getting dressed this morning. These are beautiful colors. If you guys have not seen this on Trend Moods page, that's a very neutral color. I guess apparently all of them are in other palettes, except for I think 2. And if I'm correct, actually I don't know which 2. I don't have all of her palettes. I have like 3 of her big ones, not of her minis. I have quite a few of these because they're more affordable. But so I wasn't really too worried about having repeats because I don't have a lot of her large palettes. I have actually I probably have like 4. And these are colors, well, this one, and this one are colors I would reuse anyway, so it didn't really bother me. I've already prepped and primed my skin. I'm going to do my foundation and my concealer off of camera, as I know sometimes that can get tedious and annoying, and it also drags on my video. So I will be back in just a few minutes with this part of my face done, and we'll get to the eyes. Okay guys, I'm back and my face is fully done. I used my Wet n Wild foundation. I have on the blush by MAC called Grand. I really like this color. It's very soft. It is a cream, but I love it because it does not lift up my foundation underneath, which is really nice and very uncommon for a cream. And then I have Benefit Urban Decay Brow Beater on my eyebrows. I don't necessarily love it. It's just something I have and I'm going to finish it because I don't hate it. And then I have P. Louise base, and I actually set it this time, which I normally do not. But the reason why I set it this time is because I've been having a problem with the last couple of palettes that I've been using, with them sticking to certain parts of my eye. And so I want to see if it is that or if it is just my eye. I don't know. Okay, and then the bronzer I have on is River. It is a part of the Samantha March collection with Ofra. Oh, hold on. And it looks like this. I think it's so pretty. I just used the matte side. I didn't use the shimmery side. So that's the shimmery side and that's the matte side. I think it's beautiful. You can probably barely see it, but like I've said in many videos, my face is lighter than my hands. So things are going to show up on my face more than they show up on my hands. And then as a highlighter, I also have the Samantha March highlighter. It's called Start Inspired. Oh, I didn't even look to see what it was called. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's beautiful. The Ofra highlighters are always pretty great. They're just very gleaming and very shiny. So if you have a lot of texture, or if you have a really mature skin where you have a lot of like fine lines and wrinkles, you may want to steer away from them, to be honest, because they will accentuate that. For more mature skin that's older than me, I would more suggest something soft like Hourglass. Hourglass has really good ambient powders that can leave a nice glossiness, but it's not going to emphasize too much, as well as the Natasha Denona highlighters. I think those ones are stunning and they leave the skin looking beautiful. Okay, anyways, and then I also have for contour, I used my my Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. I know, I guess apparently they have discontinued this. I still have one of these, and then I have another one. I never knew. This, I thought it would probably be expired by now because I have had this for so long. I'm not even kidding you. I think it's been like 5 years. I know, you're probably cringing right now, but it still smells good. It still works. It's not breaking me out. And I mean, it was $50. So if I can get some use out of it, I'm going to. It was probably, literally, that is probably the very first luxury product I ever bought myself. It is beautiful. They did replace it with a different formulation of the same product. I watched a video on Mel Thompson, and she says she hates it, and she's, you know, super upset because that was one of her favorite products. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I still have another one of these, so I'm going to wait for, you know, to use that up before I decide to purchase another one. So that could be another 5 years, which I haven't even finished this one yet. So, okay. Anyways, let's get to what we're all here for, which is the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. And I am going to go in with a Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush, the JH30. And I'm not a fan of Jaclyn Hill, I'm not a fan of Morphe's brushes for the most part. They do have some that are pretty great. The ones that came out with the Jeffree Star palettes were horrendous. I mean, I don't even know how he approved those brushes. I washed them once and they literally looked like a dead bird, like feathers everywhere. But the Jaclyn Hill ones I washed and they've stayed nice and soft and yeah. So I think that Jeffree's heart was not in that collaboration because they would have come out a lot better than that, because clearly they can make better brushes than that because they have. And yeah, so I'm going in with, okay, which is the, I think it's called Industrial. I'm not really sure. It's this one right here, which is kind of the most neutral color in this palette. Oh, I've had a horrible night. My 1-year-old son is so sick, and the only reason why I am able to film this right now is because he finally went to sleep. I was up all night with him, and I actually needed to get ready because I didn't want to look like death, and I have to go to my daughters. I have 2 daughters in high school, and I have to go to their school today to pick up some packets because they will not be returning to school until May 1st. As of right now, it could change. I've been trying to avoid taking my son to the doctor because I don't want him to get sicker if I can help it, but he doesn't seem to be getting better, so I think I might just have to cave and take him. We'll just see kind of how he does for the rest of the day. Okay, so I went in with the green. This kind of a green I can do. I love this kind of a green. I think it's very pretty. It's very easy to use, and it is, you can add this to a lot of different looks, and it can almost translate brown because it's not so green that it looks crazy. So on top of it, I'm putting this camel color on top. I don't know if you could see that, but just to kind of help buff it away, or help, not buff it away, help smooth out the harsh lines. Okay, so this is kind of what we're working with so far. If you're new here, like I've said before in other videos, but you wouldn't know that because you're new. I have vitiligo, so the inner corners of my eyes do not have any pigment. So eyeshadows will always look different on my eyes. As you can see, I brought this color, I'm gonna try to get it so it shows up, this color all the way over, but as you can see, the darker here than it is here, because this is completely white skin, and this is the skin color of the rest of my face. So it doesn't always look the greatest. Sometimes it can make a palette look like it's not performing right, or like I don't know how to do my eyeshadow, but that's not what it is. It's my vitiligo. So in case you were wondering, or in case you were looking at it going, yeah, that doesn't look good, I can't help it. I try to use primers that will cover it, but not a lot do unless they are super darker, you know, than my eyelid, or really, really stark white. And so I just kind of try to work around it. I'm trying to decide what else to do because I really want to use these shimmers. I think these are so pretty. I just don't know which one. Like, look how gorgeous those are. Oh my goodness. And I am, yeah, these are rose colors. I'm a big fan of roses. Obviously I have one on my neck, one on my hand, I have one on my ankle. They're beautiful. They're not my favorite flower, but they are definitely a second. I am kind of wanting to do maybe a halo eye, but I'm not quite sure. Actually, who cares? Let's just do it. So I'm going to go into the inner corner with the green. That'll kind of help cover up that inconsistency of the color from my vitiligo. And I know there's a lot of models, and you know, there's a couple of really famous YouTubers that, or Instagrammers, that have vitiligo and they don't cover it. I don't really know how I would do that because of the fact that mine is so inconsistent. So this is going to drag on my video for a minute, but for those of you that don't know a lot about vitiligo, vitiligo is almost like, I don't know how to describe it other than I think it looks like a painting. It is equal usually on each side of the body. If you have it on one side of your mouth, you usually have it on the other side. If you have it on one side of your face, it's usually on the other side. If you have it on one armpit, it's usually on both. If you have it, it usually looks like a work of art. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe it. I think it's actually pretty beautiful if you look at it that way. And that is usually for people that have a lot of vitiligo. Mine is not consistent to that pattern. It was at one point. My eyelids both had the equal amount of vitiligo on each one. My mouth had this, it was all over my mouth, and then it switched and I regained some pigment, and then it switched up on me again as I got older, and changed and took all the pigment away from my lips. And then I do have it on other parts of my body, and it is not the same because I only have like little blotches like on my knuckles. And see, normally if you have it on one hand, you see it on some people, they'll have it on both hands. So I have it on this knuckle, but I don't have it on this knuckle. I have it lower down. It's such a strange ailment. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. It's an autoimmune disease. I've seen lots of specialists. I've seen the top specialist in Utah for it until she left. She went, I think, to work in New York, and now there is not a specialist in Utah for vitiligo. And when I was seeing her, it was actually getting better because unlike, you know, I grew up in a different time than now, obviously. And so when I was a kid, because I got this when I was 16 is when it began. I would get a lot of stares and a lot of people thinking that I had some kind of a disease on my eyelids. And so I worked so hard at a really young age to start wearing makeup because I didn't want people to think that or to stare at me. And yeah, it was pretty traumatizing, to say the least. I'm not anymore, obviously. I'm an adult. People are kinder now than they were back when I was a kid, and are more sensitive to these types of things. And I think those models and those Instagram gurus that have vitiligo have kind of given more light to the subject, so that people, when they see somebody that has vitiligo, they're not going, oh my gosh, what's that? Like, ew, look at that guy, you know, or look at that girl. Because I have seen, you know, there's various levels of vitiligo, which you can have very, very little, which I am considered, you know, the lower spectrum of having very little vitiligo, or you can have it all over your body, like Winnie Harlow. And, you know, it's just, everyone handles it differently. And some people are okay with it. And if people want to stare, they don't care. I was not that person. I didn't want people staring at me. I wanted to look like everyone else, you know? And so it really bothered me. These are blending so beautifully and they look so pretty. So I went in with this pink color here. I think this one is called Pixie or Galaxia, I don't know, Galaxia. Okay, I'm going to go back into the outer edges with that green, and I'm actually going to mix it with that kind of camel color. I really like this palette, and you know what? Since I set my primer, it didn't stick. Nice. So I'm going back in with the camel color. I just want to kind of lighten this up a little bit. It's getting a little darker than I want. Okay, it is still way darker than I want. So I'm going to go in with a bigger, fluffier brush and kind of take more of that and kind of clean up these edges. Oh, I love this. I think it's going to turn out really pretty. Just trying to make sure that they're even, which they are not. This one is kind of coming, this one's coming out a little more than this one. Okay, so I blended out as much as I can. I kind of brought this one in a little bit more so they match on each side. And I'm going to go in underneath with my Sigma smudge brush and go in underneath with, I think I'm gonna mix the camel and the, I've renamed the shadows, this color and this color. Just kind of mix them together and kind of go underneath. And but I'm only gonna go in part way because I'm gonna use one of the shimmer colors in the inner corner. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is probably one of my most favorite palettes that I've gotten recently. I guess I don't really know. Would you consider this a higher end? I know she's a higher end brand, but this is not an expensive palette. I mean, it's 25 bucks. So I guess kind of for her, this is inexpensive, but it's still expensive because you only get 4 eyeshadows. Or wait, sorry, 5. So I'm going in with the same pink color that I used in the cut crease for the halo. I'm going into the inner corner, and I'm so sorry if you guys can hear my son. Well, I'm not apologizing for him. He's sick. My daughter's giving him a nice little cool bath while I finish getting ready. I spent, I don't know if I can finish that story. So he's super sick. We had a thermometer, and it was working all the way up until 10 o'clock last night. And then all of a sudden it wasn't working anymore. So I run out because there's one CVS near us that stays open 24 hours. They had none. It was only 10, I think about 10 actually. No, not even 10. It was like 9:50 when I started to go look for a thermometer, when I figured out that ours wasn't working anymore. And I needed to get some Be Cool patches for his forehead. So I go to that CVS, they're completely out. I go to another CVS, they're completely out. I go to a Walgreens, they're closed. I go to Smith's, they're closed. I go to Walmart, they're closed. I could not find a thermometer anywhere. I went to Walmart and they're sold out now too. So I don't know what to do as far as, I'm really hesitant to take him to the hospital because he's already fighting something, and I don't want to take him to the hospital and compromise him even more, because his immune system is already dealing with something else, and I don't want him to catch any kind of other illness. But he is just looking worse than he was yesterday, and it's starting to like make me worry. And it also has me thinking like, well, what do I do though? Because they tell you don't take your kids to a hospital unless it's life or death, because they will most likely catch something else there. And especially with everything that's going around right now, the last place I want to be with my son is in a hospital. And so we're trying to do the best we can, but I think the part that scares me the most is that I don't have a thermometer, so I cannot monitor his temperature to make sure that it isn't to a point where, okay, it has become an emergency and we need to go to the hospital. So I think I'm going to, there's a Instacare near here, and I'm going to see if maybe they might have one. I'd much rather take him to an Instacare that's smaller than an actual hospital. We have a children's hospital that's about 15-20 minutes away from here, which is, if I take him anywhere, that's definitely where it will be. It's called Primary Children's. They are literally the best hospital for children in Utah. So if I'm going to take him anywhere, it's going to be there, because they'll be able to take care of him the best. I just need to get my hands on a thermometer, because if I can monitor his temperature, I won't be so worried. Okay, I'm going to finish my eyes and get my lashes on, and I will be back. Alright guys, so this is the final look that I have come up with. I am wearing Glass Slipper by Fenty on my lips. Oh my gosh. And mascara on my chin. Yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah, I got a big one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills mascara, and the baby doesn't do this because I got a mini first, and this one comes out so, it just has way too much mascara on the wand that it is literally, oh my gosh, this is literally everywhere. So I wiped it off onto this wipe, and I guess I forgot and used it to clean my hands. Okay, so anyway, I got a mole in the meantime. So this is the final look. I think it turned out really pretty. I really, really like this palette. If you guys, you know, are in the market or you're interested, you will not be disappointed. The blending is really easy. It's very, very user-friendly. You don't have to have a lot of knowledge or skill to be able to get this to create a beautiful look. Obviously, I went a little bit in a different direction than just your everyday look on your eye. I wanted to kind of use this in a different way than what I've been seeing from the people that I follow. And so, and I really like it. I think it turned out really pretty. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Did you guys decide to pick it up? Are you guys waiting until, you know, all of this stuff passes? From my understanding, it is not limited edition. It doesn't say that anywhere on the Sephora website. And so you would be safe to buy this later, I'm assuming. I don't know for sure if this is just a seasonal palette. Sometimes she does that. But if it is, you know, if you can't purchase it, you're not missing out. These aren't things you cannot recreate, or colors you can't recreate. The only ones that that stick out to me most are the camel color, which you can recreate. This color, I haven't seen this. I don't have this in anything. And this one, I think this is just beautiful. I mean, I think the whole palette's great. If you can, get it. If not, like I said, it is not limited edition. You should be able to pick it up after all of this passes, and hopefully that is soon. All right, guys, I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. And if you liked the content, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you want. And I would love to have you. So don't forget to subscribe if you want. If you would like to see more of me, ring that bell and make sure that you put all so that you get notified when I post videos. All right, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane. Have a wonderful week, have a wonderful day, an amazing weekend, and a marvelous month. Stay inside, stay healthy, and I will see you guys soon.